All right, welcome back. Let's transition and talking to things about Ole Miss football. We've talked a lot about spring football lately, but what just happened recently, Ruben?
The old NFL draft.
Yes, and it was a lot of Ole Miss Rebels represented. How about it?
But that's a shock.
On both sides of the ball, too. Normally it's defense.
That's not really shocking. When a team has that kind of success and puts up the kind of numbers that they put, those players get put on the forefront. It helps.
It does, but coming out of the draft, in regards to Ole Miss, everything, as we just talked about, it revolves around the quarterback, and the quarterback wasn't even in the draft. So, to have this discussion, as always, with anything regarding Ole Miss, you can't talk about Ole Miss without this guy. He is the host of the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, which you can catch right here on 24 Plus YouTube and anywhere you stream your podcast. We had him in studio last time, but he's right back in the comfort of his man cave. Welcome again to the program, as always, Mr. Stephen Willis. Let's get it going.
How we doing, gentlemen?
Man, we're good. It's been stormy over here these last few days, so now we're getting back to some sunshine. What about yourself?
Oh, we're getting down here where it's going to rain every day this summer, but we haven't quite got to that point yet. So right now we're just enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah.
Speaking of enjoying, did you enjoy the NFL draft?
I did. I think people were caught off guard that the number 3 team in the country only had 2 players selected. And the reality of that situation is all of their great NFL players are coming back. Mm-hmm. You've got a top 3 team and you only had 2 players drafted. The rest of the SEC should be very afraid.
Yeah, and still, Stephen, coming out of that, a lot of what people were talking about is Trinidad Chambliss. And he wasn't even in the draft. And I saw a tweet, and I sent it to you. They said Trinidad Chambliss might have been the biggest loser of the draft. And they're saying that because Ty Simpson went 13 to the Rams, and they're saying, wait a minute, Trinidad's better than him. So that should have been Trinidad's spot. So, Stephen, what is your take? Because you know what I've said on this program. So reiterate, what is your take coming out of the draft? Would Trinidad have gotten drafted at that spot? Do you think if he had declared, he would have been the 13th pick instead of Ty?
Maybe, possibly, but that's not what we're doing here. That's not what we're dealing with. Trinidad wants to stick in the NFL. He wants to be Baker Mayfield. He doesn't want to be Ryan Leaf. He doesn't want to be a flash in the pan where he just gets drafted. He wants to get that second contract because that's the real goal of all of this, to put yourself in the best position to get that second contract. And getting drafted at 13th, that would be great. That would be great. But if he washed out of the NFL within a year or two and ended up in the UFL and doing all of that stuff, he would be viewed as a bust. So what he is doing and what NIL has allowed college players to do is to make money while they develop their game. His quarterback coach is a former NFL guy. He's teaching the NFL stuff that he needs to know at the next level. He actually coached on the same team as Tom Brady. He was there with the GOAT. So Trinidad Chambliss learning from that guy would be just as easy as learning from a quarterback coach of the Jets or something like that. So I don't think the situation is that Trinidad Chambliss is the biggest loser. It might be if your goal is to just be drafted, but that's not what Trinidad Chambliss is trying to do here.
It's such a difference in the draft now compared to what it has been. So in a couple of ways. Number one, guys used to declare because they wanted to go make money, right? I got to get drafted so I can make money. Well, now they're making money in college. So that pressure to go right now has kind of gone away. I don't have to go right now. I can still make a few million right here in college. It's not taxed all across the country, and I'm basically king of the hill. So there's that factor. And then the second factor is you don't have nearly as many underclassmen jumping ship as you alluded to earlier. Yeah. So I kind of have the opposite of vision when it comes to Trinidad. I think it's a brilliant business move to stay in and make money, right? I'm going to stay in and make my money, build my draft stock. It was a class that wasn't – people weren't dying to take a bunch of quarterbacks. You knew Fernando was going to go one, right? Mm-hmm. But then after that, it was kind of like
a relative unknown.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, well, who's going to be the next big quarterback taker?
But then
so next year will be a better class for him.
Yeah, but then he may not necessarily go as high. I get what both of y'all are saying, and for the most part, I agree. My thing is, and when you look at it now that it's played out, Ty Simpson, he's going to the Los Angeles Rams. That's probably one of the best spots you can go. He's going to learn behind Matthew Stafford. He's going to be with one of the best offensive minds in football, period, in Sean McVay. And then he'll have, he has good wide receivers with Puka Nacua, and he has a good crop to when he does get the chance.
He ain't never going to throw to them. He ain't never going to throw to those guys.
Well, Matthew Stafford, this might be the last run for him.
He just had like an MVP season, like an MVP-style season. And
Ty?
No, Stafford.
Oh, yeah.
So jump in here, Stephen. I'm going to make this quick point. Ty Simpson sat most of his college career, finally got to play. He's going to go to the NFL and sit for probably at least 2 years before he ever really gets to play. So how is he going to be developed? How is he going to be ready when his time is actually called? He's not going to play over Matthew Stafford right now. He's dead sure not over those guys. So I honestly don't think it's a great place if I'm Ty Simpson. It is if you just want to sit back and not really play. Thoughts?
Yeah, and also, remember, Trinidad isn't the biggest guy. He's not going to walk in and be the statuesque quarterback that you see, the big guys that can make a splash. That's the guys that get chances taking on them. Mm-hmm. Trinidad's going to get much less of the benefit of the doubt. So he has to be ready to play the moment he walks into camp, because they're going to be looking, just like they all do, looking for reasons to cut you.
Yep.
Yeah. To you all's point again, I saw a quote from Riley Leonard, good quarterback when he was at Notre Dame, playoff team. He said he made more money in NIL than he does as the third string practice squad. So I get that. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the money. I think of Trinidad's stature, he wouldn't be a third string or practice squad guy. But still, again, like I said, the experience, you want to leave no doubt when he makes it to the league. My biggest thing is I don't want us, like I said, if it's going to go back to the money, it is what it is. I don't want us to get to this point next year and we're looking at the draft and Trinidad's not a first-round pick. And we have a bunch of quarterbacks that are taken ahead of him and we're looking like, dang, the time was – he should have went last year when they took Ty. That's my biggest thing. But if it's about the money and it's his bank account, fine. He does whatever he wants. He may not go as high, but he can still look at his bank account and be like, hey, I'm still richer than what I was if I would have went.
And the flash in the pan thing, the flash in the pan that happens in college football, remember, Peyton Manning was taken number 1. Tom Brady was taken in the 6th or 7th round. They're both considered the GOATs. Yep. So it's not going to matter where he's picked. It's more important that he sticks and that he gets a year 2 and a year 3.
So to the point about Trinidad and waiting until next year and see, you got to remember, he's only got the one season of SEC football under his belt. So he's still
less
in
than
theory,
1 season.
Yeah, less than 1 season. So he still has a lot to prove to NFL. Yeah, is it tangibles look great, but you don't have a ton of film of him at that level, right? And so I can totally see why in his camp, and let's all not be shy about this, there's a camp, a strategic camp talking about whether or not he should or shouldn't be going to the NFL draft. There's people in place that are making those grades and measuring that out. So it makes sense to me that his camp would say, hey, if you stick 1 more year, take your NIL money, improve your draft stock by proving that, hey, you can play at this level even at your height and stature, because you're right, Stephen, measurables matter in the NFL, right? So he takes a year to prove that. Now he doesn't have to worry about being the 13th pick. He's easily a top 10 guy, and there's no doubt about it, his performance. And if for some reason he did drop, at least he'd be better prepared to stick long term.
I guess the thing, leave no doubt.
Yeah, and his Heisman campaign kicked off over the last week or so. He had an interview with Marty Smith of ESPN. Vanity Fair had a Bomani Jones article put out about it. They're getting headlines. He has a chance to be a 1-1 type player in the NFL draft, but he needs the accolades with the Heisman Trophy and all that, and the development. It's not a guarantee. Everybody says it's a foregone conclusion that he's not going to be a high pick next year. He has a chance to be the highest of picks, similar to Baker Mayfield, but he needs to develop his game, and Joe Judge and this offense and all that is going to provide a lot for that.
He'll have some tough competition going up against Arch Manning, Dante Moore, Darian Mensah, but Trinidad's my guy. That's my favorite quarterback in all of college football. I think he's more than capable of it. But, Stephen, we could talk about this forever. Really quickly before we let you go, as always, tell the people what you're working on.
We are working on the end of spring football, getting ready for a transfer portal haul from Chris Beard. They're apparently working, and baseball's now in a dip again. They need to get right before Hoover starts, and you can check it all out on the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
As always, like you said, 24 plus YouTube and anywhere you stream your podcast. Stephen, as always, we appreciate your time this week on the 24th floor. We'll catch you next week.
All right. Thank you, bud.